Truckers. Mother truckers. Hold on. Okay, it's on. What's going on, guys? Happy Sunday. By the way, football season's coming back. And a couple of you guys have been asking me about fantasy football, especially Mike. So we might have to do another fantasy football league. So if you're interested, I think there's still the fantasy section in the Discord. Get in the Discord and say you want to be in the fantasy football league. Because we didn't do it last year. We did it 2 years ago. I won. I didn't even check my lineup after week 5, and I still won, by the way. That's how you know I'm the GOAT, fantasy football player. But if you guys want to play, go in there. We might start a league. Why not, right? Keeps you busy. And why the frick not? Blaze, I'm about to pick my pizza up right now. Let's go, Blaze. Blaze, are you getting Blaze Pizza? Or is that just your name? What's the pizza place that LeBron James had? I think it's Blaze Pizza, right? I'm pretty sure that's it. But I hope everyone's had a fantastic weekend, guys. Not too much going on during the weekend as we expected. The weekends are just boring as shit. So we find ourselves in another kind of small little range as Bitcoin's just kind of holding 26K. Not really much going on. This is going to be an interesting week to see, are we going to hold this region around 26K? That's the big question, really. Are we going to hold 25K? Because as I've been saying, 25K is the line in the sand for like the things that I've been looking at for this year and so forth. If 25K goes, we've sort of have been under the assumption that we could go lower than you might think if 25K breaks. If 25K breaks, then you're breaking market structure. All of a sudden, you don't have higher highs and higher lows. Now you have lower lows, and you kind of break in market structure. So this is the week we want to see if we hold 25K. But obviously, time will freaking tell. Drew, I'm not ignoring you, man. I saw you. I saw you, Drew. Drew, did you go hiking this weekend, man, or rock climbing? I didn't go. I needed to have a week break from hiking, man, because last week I think the mosquitoes took about half my blood. Like, I've never been bitten that much. I look like a damn, I don't know, someone who has a bunch of polka dots on them. Looked like I had chicken pox. That's how many mosquitoes I had on my back. They loved my back for some reason. I was wearing a cutoff tee. They didn't bite anywhere in the front of my arm or the back. They literally only went for the back of my arm, which means there's a lot of blood pumping back there. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, I got this like thing on my arm. I got a tight muscle over there. It's brutal today, man. When Chinese stimmy, that's what I'm talking about, bro. We'll talk about a little bit about that today. The Chinese economy is China's funny, man. They're hyping up their economy like it's great. They might have to start printing money. You know what I mean? So we'll talk a little bit about that today and everything in between. But, you know, just kind of going over to BTC on the weekly. We've been sort of talking about the 50 moving average band. So we broke the bull market support band, which is the first one we wanted to hold. You know, so we sort of broken that. We came back down, tested 25. Now we're coming back down to test our 50 moving average band. Now this is the most important one to hold, in my opinion. And if we start breaking back below that, historically, if we break back below the 50 moving average band, we're in for a little bit more red than you might expect. So, like I said, the bottom of that band's coming in at 24K-ish. It's going to be higher after the week close today. But it's coming in around 24K. We want to hold that 50 moving average band. But I'll say this, kind of going forward is kind of like I've been saying, guys. It's like, if Bitcoin's going to go lower here in the short term, by all means, do it. 2023 is the year of accumulation. So if the market makers are going to be nice enough to give us lower prices on Bitcoin, which honestly, I didn't think we'd be seeing much lower prices on BTC, but if they want to bring it, by all means, let's do it. As we weren't really expecting any type of bull run, like true bull run in 2023 anyways, right? Typically the bull run doesn't start happening, you know, like where you're really looking for the gains, like not a 20-30% gain on your altcoin. We don't give a shit about that. That's not why we're in crypto. I'm talking about the real bull run. We knew that probably wasn't going to happen in 2023 anyways, right? So if you look at it from that perspective, it's fine, right? It's fine. It is what it is, right? I mean, you can't change it. But like I said, we're all guessing here in the short term. Once again, we're back to 25K. If we break 25K, I think it's looking a little ugly in the short term. But as we've seen this year, I will continue to state this. And I'll kind of keep this going forward. Short term is messy. It's cloudy. There's a lot of uncertainty right now. In stock market, in Bitcoin, everywhere. It's a lot of uncertainty, man. Right? But I'll say this is the best time you want to be in crypto, fellas. This is when you want to be in crypto. This is when you want to be doing your research, looking for the shit you want to buy, having your levels marked out, because you want to take advantage of the people capitulating. And I'll say this, Bitcoin's at 26K. If we do see another leg down, you're going to see people capitulating like crazy on everything. And basically, you want to be in position to be able to take advantage of that. So if we do see it, and I said like last week, I wouldn't be opposed to some red week last week, and that's exactly what we got. We got a red week last week. We got a bigger red week than we thought, but being able to take advantage of other people's capitulation is exactly what we should be in this market for, right? So all in all, like I said, we're not expecting a bull run in 2023 anyways. So whatever kind of happens in the short term, it is what it is. Clint, later, man. Have a good one, bro. Let's let the dust settle. Yeah, right now it's just letting the dust settle. Like, there's not really much to say. Obviously, the initial bounce wasn't great on BTC here. Wasn't great, right? But it kind of like we've been saying, it's, sometimes we kind of just got to keep giving it a couple of days, see what the market does. There's a couple events this week that could possibly give us a little bit of action. There's the Grayscale SEC case, which was rumored to be finished up on Friday last week. Apparently, these cases tend to be settled on Tuesdays and Fridays. And the length of time they typically take should have been solved last week. So this case is actually taking longer than the average time. That's why a lot of people have rumors that this is going to be settled soon. So I'll be looking out for that on Tuesday this week and Friday this week. Probably not tomorrow. These get settled on Tuesdays and Fridays. So I would start looking out that on Tuesday. Maybe something happens with that. But kind of like we've been saying, man. Bitcoin's Bitcoin. If Bitcoin wants to go lower, honestly, that's fine. Give it to me. I'll take it. Because I actually was not expecting to see. Right now we're at 26K. But like, if we do start breaking below 25K, I know that's going to cause a lot of capitulation. And I'll be buying that capitulation. And if that breaks, I would expect a lot of people to start panicking. Like, you see the fear and greed index right now? This shit is at a 37, right? But we're starting to get into fear, which we haven't seen in quite a bit. The times we've actually gone into fear have marked lows for BTC this year. The big question I have this time is, is this another one of those scenarios where you get a big capitulation red candle, it marks fear? Is that going to mark another low? We'll see, right? If it doesn't, better opportunities to load up. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it, right? There's no reason to really stress yourself in the short-term time frames. It's just annoying. You know what I mean? Like, because typically what you see during this time is Bitcoin go sideways for like 6 months, and you get, the people calling for new all-time highs this year, and you get the people calling for 10K, right? There's no just like, okay, Bitcoin's gonna just kind of do what it's gonna do. You know what I mean? Which is probably the reality, right? You're probably not going to 10K, and you're probably not going to all-time highs this year. You know what I mean? It's probably somewhere in the middle. So that's that. Drew said, I don't mind people being scared. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. I don't mind people being scared either. Now, I'll say this. Kind of adding on to what I've been saying. I'm not necessarily like bullish or bearish right now. I think after breaking the bull market support band, typically that's not a good sign in the short term. But I'll say this. I'm not really like bullish or bearish. I think calling for like ridiculously low prices or high prices at the current moment is kind of stupid. You're more than likely just going to chop still. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily like you're going to see 10K or all-time highs. I think you're just going to kind of chop. Now, I'll say this, though. If we do start breaking 25, there's this interesting trend line that actually, you know, we used to talk about this trend line a lot, and a lot of people used to talk about this. But there's this interesting trend line from 2017 where if you actually marked out all the major Bitcoin lows, and you know, trend lines are trend lines. They're fun, right? They're more fun than anything. If you kind of mark this out, right? So this one, 2017, then you hit the bottom twice over here in 2018, 2019. Then it was actually the COVID low close. You wicked below it, closed right here at the COVID low. And then we actually bottomed on this twice on the FTX low over here, right? Twice on the FTX low, which I think is kind of interesting. Whereas if we do break 25, once again, if we do break 25, which is certainly a possibility, nothing's impossible. It will be interesting if we actually did come and test this trend line again, right? The question is, would it be a sideways test, right? Where you just bores you the shit out until you eventually hit it to sideways like this, right? Before you bounce. Or will it just be like a massive capitulation, kind of like the COVID crash, where you just instantly dump to it and bounce? I would prefer the first option. Actually, the second option. I would prefer just the epic capitulation. Get everyone all riled up and bounce. That's what I would prefer. You know, if we were to do something like this again, where we just get a massive capitulation down to this trend line, right? Even break it a little bit. Get everyone super, super scared, just like you did back in this previous market. Get everyone super, super scared, right? You buy that super, super scaredness, right? And then we get a nice little bouncy bounce. That's what I would prefer. The worst case scenario, and we've already seen this the last like 6 months, is we just kind of stay in this range. We get a bounce here, and we just kind of keep going like this. That would be the worst. Because then you wouldn't really get like great prices, and you still wouldn't get upside. It would just be boring as shit, which I also wouldn't rule that out either. That's kind of what you did over here too. Before the COVID crash, you kind of just went sideways for like a year. You know what I mean? So I think either of those are possible. It's just going to be like, is there going to be some type of news or SEC versus Grayscale that gets us up? That's kind of what we're looking for right now. But like I said, I also wouldn't be opposed to lower prices. So a big crash like that, I think would set up nicely. And I've always said this about those big crashes is this crash was good. It was like 10% last week. 10%. That's not like max fear to me. You know, what I think would be max fear is actually breaking that 25K level and then just seeing a flush, right? An absolute flush down to this trend line. That would be fear. That would be true freaking fear. That would be a fear that would mark a low. This, I feel like, I don't know, this weekly candle to me just doesn't scream, and I could totally be wrong. I've been wrong multiple times. You know what I mean? Like, I've been wrong so many times. This low, this dip right here just doesn't feel like one that marks a low. I don't know. It just doesn't feel that way to me, just because it's, I don't know.
Why
It
do
doesn't
they
feel that way to me.
always say never
Billy
sell
said,
your BTC, but then also always say take
oh
profits
shit,
on the
I'm
way
hiding
up?
myself from the screen, man.
ISNT, that's selling your BTC. LOL.
Why do they always say never sell your BTC and then also always say take profits on the way up? Isn't that selling your BTC? Billy, don't let anyone tell you not to sell on the way up. What you don't want to do is sell on the way down, right? Don't let anyone knock you for taking profits. Okay, taking profits is always smart. So if you hear some idiot coming out and saying, you know,
Rant alert.
if you hear some idiot, you know, maybe Horse Guy will tell you this. He'll come out and say, do not stick in the profits. No, you are idiots for taking profits. You must hold to 200K. Yes, we will hold to 200K. If you are selling at any way on the way up, 60K, 70K, 80K, you are an idiot. Okay? You must hodl. You are a pussy. You must have diamond hands, no paper hands. Don't let anyone tell you not to take profits. I think that is just stupid. You know what I mean? And I've been that guy before too.
Yeah, but some people don't know what it means to sell or take
Oh, sell and take profits. That's a good point. There's a different. I guess there's a difference between selling and taking profits. When I think of selling, I think of someone selling like everything they have, like liquidating their whole portfolio. Taking profits is, I guess, is a little bit different, right? Where you're kind of, like people say to DCA on dips or DCA on the way down. I guess my view of taking profits is basically DCAing out. So like as price moves up, maybe you take 10% off, moves up a little bit more, maybe you take 10% off, right? That's my definition of taking profits. And it also depends on if you're a trader or you're someone just like myself right now. I ain't really in trade mode. I'm just looking to buy as much crypto as possible for the rest of 2023, right? So for me, I'm in DCA in mode, right? As the prices move down. But then when the prices start moving up, I'm in DCA out mode. More so in altcoins than Bitcoin, but as prices move up, you want to be DCAing out of the markets, Let's see. If you never pay thyself, what's the point? That is true. That is true, man. It depends what kind of person you are, right? Are you an investor or are you a trader? There's a time for a trader's market and there's time for an investor's market. I think as prices get low, and there's already altcoins. Altcoins are already, by the way, there was some interesting bounces over this weekend. XRP had an interesting bounce over the weekend. We'll talk about XRP in a little bit, but XRP, you actually just basically banged out the low and actually came back up and actually are closing back above that October, April, and June high, right? So XRP with a decent bounce there. The weekly close is actually not looking too bad there. That wick though, took out a lot of peeps. RIP, if you were the one who sold the bottom of the wick on XRP at 42 cents. Rip. that blows. And everyone would say, that wasn't me. Someone in here sold the bottom of that wick in XRP. Someone did. That's okay. Next time you'll learn not to sell the panic sell. There was some interesting bounces, but all right, enough about Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin, everyone's going to stress out where Bitcoin's going in the short term. I think, let me ask you guys this. Are you guys in this market for 20% gains? Are you in this market for, I don't believe that anyone's in this market for, okay, Bitcoin, okay, we're at 25K. It's going to go to 26. You're going to sell your whole portfolio. Down to 24. Buy back again. Up to 27. Good luck if you're trying to do that. Okay? Good freaking luck if you're trying to do that. I think most peeps, okay, you can have a trade portfolio and a hodl portfolio, are looking down the road. So we haven't looked at this in a while. I think this is interesting. By the way, anyone who's coming in now, we're doing the Fantasy Football League again. So if you want to get in the Fantasy Football League, make sure you go into the Discord, okay? Go into the Fantasy Football section in the Discord and just say, Jordan, I want to be in the league, okay? Because we're going to do that again. We did it in 2021. I won the league, by the way, and I didn't even pay attention to the league. That's how good I am at drafting. And then last year we didn't do it. So 2023, which is this year, obviously, we're going to do it again. Because Mike's been bugging me about the Fantasy Football League, man. So we got to do it again. Can we talk about Safe Moon? We can. But I guess this is a good time to go over the previous two Bitcoin cycles. So I know right now there's a lot of bullshit, right? I mean, the cycles tend to rhyme pretty much. If you look at where Bitcoin is compared to the two previous cycles, I mean, it's pretty much exactly where it should be. Now, did we? The thing is about this. If you kind of look at these, and I guess obviously we look at this now, right? If you look at these two previous summer runs, you can see they kind of ended here in June and June, right here, kind of where we actually, get this last local top. The question I have right now is, if we're just going to follow the two previous cycles, which we have up until this point, obviously it's not going to look the exact same, but if you look at the structure, it's pretty similar. and we've always kind of said this, around the halving, okay, and I think this is really all I really care about, to be honest. And, lately, you guys could probably tell, I'm kind of not spending as much time maybe in the Discord or on Twitter and stuff like that, just because I think most of the short-term price action is so pointless to talk about. You know what I mean? Like I said this, I could probably do one stream a week and kind of talk about my thoughts. But we haven't talked about this in a while, so this is a good point. If we look at, we talked about this a lot last year, when the market was kind of just boring and at the lows, and where Bitcoin should be at the halving. And we sort of said, okay, looking back at the 2 previous cycles where the halving was, which is like right around this area right here, that Bitcoin should be right around like 31K at the time of the halving, right? We didn't know how it was going to get there. Was it going to pump and dump? Was it going to dump and then come back up before the halving? We didn't know how it was going to get there, right? We had thoughts, right? But we always sort of said that, if it's anything like the 2 previous cycles, whether we go up and back down, or we capitulate like this one did and come back up, Bitcoin should be, in theory, around 31K at the halving point, which I think is good, right? And that tells me, and that's just what I'm trying to do, is if Bitcoin drops lower, oh man, I'm looking at that as a fantastic deal here. And I know what's going to happen again is that Bitcoin's going to break 25K. If it does, there's going to be I'm just going to swear, an F load, a fuck load of fear in the market again, right?
Bitcoin's going to 10K.
You're going to get all the 10K calls back, man. It's going to be crazy. All the 10K calls are going to come back. But I would say, like, a more realistic target, if it was to keep dumping, this trend line makes a ton of sense. Like 20K, 21K, I think is a relatively good target. It's kind of like the bottom of this range. And it's also this trend line that we've said has been holding since 2017. Obviously, trend lines are meant to break at some point, but I think it gives you a decent target and what makes sense. So like I said, if 25K breaks, that's kind of where I look for. And I think that would set up for a fantastic opportunity. But typically when that happens, and what I want to talk about today is typically if that happens, and I want to talk about today, right? If it happens. Because when it does happen, you get a lot of craziness and panic and gibberonies, okay? If it does happen, I'm looking at that as a freaking gift. And that honestly, you guys know me, a couple weeks ago, I didn't think that was going to happen. Maybe it does, right? Which is why you always have an invalidation point, and you be okay if prices go lower. I expect Bitcoin to be at like 31K at the time of the halving, which, I guess you're looking at this point, 8 months? What happens between now and 8 months? Who the F knows? You know what I mean? Who the F knows? But who the F cares? You know what I mean? Shit. But yeah, I guess it's important during times like this to kind of just look at the bigger picture and kind of just look where we're at in the cycle and just remember what the bigger picture is. And you might not believe in the 4-year cycle. You might not believe in, this happening again. It's just going to be bearish forever. I don't, but this is kind of what I'm basing off at, man. And I think trying to confuse yourself and doing this and this and, this time's going to be different. It's always going to be different this time. Is sort of whatever, right? Let's see. Drew said, "Why don't we know what price will be next week?" BitBoy told us. I don't think he even knows. I actually watched his. You guys said he said something about me in the last stream. I actually was watching his last stream. He actually makes a lot of good points. I would say this: people knock him a little bit, but he actually makes some pretty good points. He does. He's not making these ridiculous calls. I think he looks at the market very similar to I do, right? This is the time you want to be accumulating. This is the time where everyone's bearish and it's just dog shit price action, and which makes you more bearish, right? Then even price goes down. Boring is worse. This is the type of market that makes you go insane and makes you question, everything that you ever think, right? Makes you question everything, you know? Should I be in this market? What am I thinking? You know, there's other assets going up. Why the hell am I in this asset class? It's never going to go up again. This is dog shit. But I think the important thing to remember is crypto's been through this before, guys, right? I think that's the most important thing is you just line up the two cycles. Crypto's been through this before. And we're actually performing just as good. We're actually performing. So it seems like we're doing horrible, but Bitcoin's actually performing better than it did in one of the cycles and is performing the same that it did in the last cycle. You know what I mean? Despite all the macro shit, recession fears, inflation, now we got COVID fears again, now we got China economy fears. Bitcoin's like literally right where it's supposed to be throughout all this bullshit, you know? And that's what gives me confidence. Whereas if Bitcoin was like somewhere down here right now, it would be a different story. You know what I mean? But the fact that Bitcoin's up here, despite all the bullshit we've already been through in the past 2 years, because we've been through a lot of bullshit in the last two years, man. Every fun in the book we've been through. Pandemic, war, inflation, recession. You name every single damn thing. We've been through it all. But here's Bitcoin, just exactly where it should be, just like every single cycle, right? So, like I said, we might get certain short-term calls wrong, but the bigger picture is the most important thing that we should be looking at, right? All right, enough ranting, man.
Rant alert.
Enough of this bullshit ranting, man. Let's see. Exactly, Bernie. And Jordan around the blockchain confirmed. Maybe one day we got to go on around the blockchain, man. But I'm saving the ultimate around the blockchain appearance for the hype times, and I'll be going on around the blockchain at some point. I promised you guys I would. Will I troll? We'll see. We'll see, man. We'll see. I don't know if I want to troll. I kind of do, but I don't know if I will. I probably won't troll, to be honest. I'll pussy out. I'll say I'm going to troll, and then I'll be a pussy, and I won't. You know? Shout out to Psycho Pearl, man. My favorite, I don't know what I call Psycho Pearl. Troll Bear? Let's see. Zero said, don't let chat talk you into trolling. True. True, Zero. I always let the chat talk me into doing shit, man. Not really anymore, though. I used to be so influenced by the chat. Like, I used to be, like, my sentiment used to be influenced by the chat. My like, the way I look at the chart used to be influenced by the chat. You know what I mean? Now it's not. I just don't give a fuck. You know? Now I just don't care what anyone says. But I used to be. I used to be, man. Mike, don't be peer pressuring me, man. I can't do that. I can't do that. All right. Anyways, let's look at I think some interesting stuff that's going on this week, guys, is there's been a lot of FUD, and I've seen a lot of FUD with the altcoin market. But what was interesting this week with all the FUD with the altcoin market, guys, Bitcoin dominance actually went down. You know what I mean? So last week, which was a big drop for really Bitcoin, right? I mean, actually, when you look at the chart, it was actually Bitcoin breaking more market structure than it was the altcoin market, right? Bitcoin dominance actually went down last week, and is actually, look at Bitcoin dominance, and this is where it gets interesting here. Look at Bitcoin dominance; it's actually testing the previous highs, where we had this whole range for the last 2 years. It's actually coming down to test that right now. My question is, if this dips back into that range, this is just a big deviation right here. And that leads me to think, and I'm not calling for an altcoin season, trust me. I don't think we're going to be seeing like the altcoin season that everyone wants at this current moment. But what I am seeing is, this is a big point for Bitcoin dominance, I think. Because if this dips back into the range, then this just, I mean, look at this. This is a textbook redistribution pattern, which is actually a bearish pattern. But for dominance, my question is, that actually might be bearish for crypto. And the reason why I say that is, everyone thinks of Bitcoin dominance going down. That means altcoins have to be going up more than Bitcoin. No, Bitcoin dominance going down can actually mean that people are selling Bitcoin into stable coins. I guess basically what I mean by this is, if they're not necessarily going into the altcoins that you want them to, they're actually going into stable coins. You know what I mean? Which is not bullish for the altcoin market. You know what I mean? So the way I'm looking at this is, okay, if this is a downtrend, right? We have one up thrust, we have two up thrusts, we have the deviation high. This is the Wyckoff just flipped, which is it's the opposite of Wyckoff accumulation. This is Wyckoff distribution, right? So if this comes back in, the target would be all the way back down to the bottom of the range. But that's necessarily not bullish for the altcoin market. That could just mean, like I said, people are selling Bitcoin into stable coins. So it's going to be interesting. It could mean it could mean either one. You know what I mean? It depends if you're bullish or bearish on the market. If you're bullish on the market, you're going to think that that's going to mean people are selling Bitcoin into altcoins. If you're bearish on the market, it means people are going to be selling Bitcoin into stable coins. Take a pick, right? But this one's getting kind of interesting here. We got to watch Bitcoin dominance. Now, we could just bounce. We could just bounce from retesting this. This could be a retest before we continue up like this, right? So we got to watch this very, very closely over the next few weeks. But if this starts dipping back in, it's looking a little shady for dominance there. But if it starts bouncing, we're looking good. It really depends. This is a key level for dominance right there, man. ETH Bitcoin. Now, this is where I kind of get bullish. You know what I mean? And there's so many weird things in the market right now. This is where I actually get bullish. Look at ETH BTC. Okay. Now, last week, I was here. Oh my God! Look at Ethereum. Ethereum actually did way better than Bitcoin last week. Way better than Bitcoin last week. Bitcoin actually tanked. ETH, compared to Bitcoin, actually went up, right? So we've been talking about this falling wedge on Ethereum versus Bitcoin for so freaking long. It's just been, making lower lows, lower highs. It's been bearish since about September last year. But we've been talking about this falling wedge and how falling wedges eventually typically to break up 69% of the time. We've also talked about how this retraced back to the 702 retracement, which is a lot of times when we do see bounces. So this one's interesting. And it makes me think, and I'm kind of going deep here because like we just talked about, going back to Bitcoin dominance, oh shit. We'll go back to, I have so many charts I want to talk about today. Because actually the market's exciting now, and it's exciting to see what's going to happen next. Let's go back to Bitcoin dominance. All right, so Bitcoin dominance, like we said, if this dips back below into the range, that's bearish for Bitcoin dominance. But what does that mean if Bitcoin dominance goes back into the range, which is bearish, but ETH Bitcoin is looking bullish? Well, then that means that Bitcoin dominance is going down because people are basically getting more into altcoins than they are Bitcoin. If ETH dominance if ETH BTC is going up, it's weird shit. There's a lot of shit that goes into this. But I'd watch this because this was a bullish candle on the weekly on ETH BTC here. As more people capitulated Bitcoin, I keep saying this, man. More people capitulated Bitcoin than ETH last week on that dump. It didn't seem like it, but it was actually a pretty big increase. So we'll take a look at this. It's definitely something to watch. But if this breaks up and this breaks down, you would think that would be bullish for the crypto market, right? So it's gonna be interesting, man. It is. And this is all weekly charts. This is not hourly charts. This is not me trying to make a prediction. This is me just looking at the market and seeing something that's kind of interesting going on in the market, man. Let's see. Whale Talk said, like the stream, peoples. Thank you, Whale Talk. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, if you guys like the stream, if you guys watch every single day and you enjoy the stream, Thanks for hitting the like button. Thanks for coming in and watching, guys. Thanks for coming in and watching. My only goal for this stream, okay? The only thing, if you could do anything to help me out on this stream, is just hitting that like button, guys. That's the only thing I ask from you. Hit the like button. You don't need to come in and watch every day. If you're bored with the crypto market, take a freaking break. Most people aren't going to tell you that because they want you to keep coming and watch their videos. If you need a break, take a break. But if you're coming to watch, just hit that like button. It helps me out. All right? Anyways, besides that, so that was really Ethereum. I guess stock markets are actually approaching where I think they're going to get a bounce. So S&P's coming close to this gap right here, right? Any bounce on stock markets should help Bitcoin too. So S&P, we've been talking about this gap for actually like a week or two, and we said if it's going to get a pullback, this is probably where you see a bounce. We probably fill this, maybe not this week, maybe you see a little bounce this week, but within the next few weeks, we probably fill this gap on the S&P here. And same thing on the NASDAQ. NASDAQ, we actually filled half of it last week. So I'd say within the next few weeks, we fill this on the NASDAQ. And I think we get a bounce on both the NASDAQ and the S&P over the course of the next few weeks. So that should help BTC. My question is, while we fill that gap, what happens to BTC? You know? And like I said, I don't know in the short term. And I sort of said this, if I'm being selfish, and, you know, sometimes, you know, you got to be selfish in the markets, man. If I'm going to be selfish, I wouldn't mind, you know, and like, I'm thinking down the road. I don't care about right now. If I'm going to be selfish, I actually wouldn't mind to see a big capitulation. I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't. That's me being selfish, but I always remind you guys this. You have to be selfish in the markets. You can't care. It's sort of mean to say, but you got to care about yourself in the markets. I wouldn't mind a capitulation, like something like this, to this trend line, right? Where we've seen a bounce since 2017, just like the COVID crash. I wouldn't mind something like that. At this point, where are we at? We're at 26K, right? We go to 21K, 20K again, by all means. If we're expecting, you know, like we said, if Bitcoin is going to be around 31K at the halving, which I think it's going to be somewhere around that point at the halving, right? Then who the frick cares where it goes in the short term? I've always said that. Are you going to be selling your BTC at 30K? Why do you care if Bitcoin's going to be at 30K or 20K tomorrow? Why do you give a shit? You ain't going to be selling at either of those prices anyways. I've always said that. You ain't going to be selling your Bitcoin at 30K anyways, right? So why wouldn't you just mind if prices were lower, right? I've always thought that way. And sometimes it makes you feel uncomfortable, right? You feel more comfy when your coins are going up, right? But you ain't going to be selling either way. Most of you guys. If you guys are hodlers, you don't. Why do we care where it is? So like I said, at this point, shit.
What's up, Jordan? Watching you
Give it to
for a
me,
while,
man.
Unfortunately, on my TV, so I couldn't send any super chats. Thank you. For
the occasional
entertainment
gambler.
during the craziness.
What's up, bro?
I know
Dude, I'm sweating
everything
balls.
Is based on BTC. However, can you look at INJ, please?
Oh. I'm sweating balls, man. Huh? Oh my God, you're so nice to me. Guys, should we get Maj on the stream? No, but all right, enough about Bitcoin. Let's go to the altcoin market, because the altcoin market, like we've been talking about, we'll just look at total 3 real quick. The altcoin market. Why is this? What the frick happened to this, man? Let me just get rid of this. My Wyckoff. Oh my God, my Wyckoff thing got deleted. I spent a whole 5 minutes making that. All right. I spent a whole 5 minutes making that Wyckoff chart, man. What the frick? All right. This is total 3 minus stablecoins. We've been talking about altcoin market. I think the altcoin market is at its lows or close to its lows. I think it's in Wyckoff, right? We've seen the one hit to the low, second hit to the low. I think this is the third hit to the low. But we've been saying the altcoin market probably just chops in here for the rest of 2023. But we're looking for higher lows. This week, we got a dump on the altcoin market. What did we do? We made a higher low, right? And we got actually a pretty nice buy up there on that weekly candle. But we got a higher low. It's exactly what we've been looking at. So what we want to see for the altcoin market, and this is the whole altcoin market, there's going to be altcoins that go lower. There's going to be altcoins that go higher. This is just the average of all of them. What we want to see for the average of all the altcoin market is just continuing to just kind of chop in here, right? Just chop, suey. You're going to have up days, you're going to have down days, but we want to see the average of the altcoin market just making higher lows and higher highs. But we did see a higher low come in, which is exactly what we want to see. Now, I know, listen, I have a different view on the altcoin market than a lot of people do. I know a lot of people are interested in all the coins from last cycle. That's fine. I've been in this market long enough to know that typically the newer coins perform better. I know everyone doesn't like that, but it is what it is. But for some of the coins that people like, right? I saw Mike said AVAX. Let's look at AVAX. AVAX, man, see, my problem with these is I want to see them. I still think this one and a lot of the ones that you might like actually are going to go slightly lower. And my reasoning for that is, all right, think of all the people who have entries, right? And think about this logically, right? Look at the AVAX chart like this, right? Look at how many people do you think have entries right in this white box? Here, 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 and we just had a wick down there again this week, right? Right? It's been the easiest entry ever. My thinking is this. How could the market maker get a better entry? It'd be so easy. It'd be so easy to get an entry on this. All you have to do is just break this low. Break this low, and you're going to have people squirming, right? And typically what you see when you break a big low like this is you see a big capitulation candle, a big wick down. This is where everyone sells, and then it gets back into the range. And then boom, there is your generational entry. Bada bing, bada boom, we're back up, right? That's typically what you see. That doesn't have to be like that. That's just what I think is going to happen for some of the altcoins. I think some altcoins have already bottomed. I think some of them haven't. AVAX, I could be wrong. Listen, if you wanted a DCA at 1089, I'm not going to hate on you for it. You're doing the right thing if you want a DCA here. I'm just telling you what I think is going to happen. I still think this one could still dip, break this low, get everyone squirming like little squirms. Oh, it's bearish! Right? And that's when everyone panic sells on the big wick down, breaks the lows, gets back up, bada bing, bada boom. Right? Like I said, would I hate on you for DCAing at $10? No. You're going to get a better entry than 99% of people, most likely. But still remains. Let's see. Bullish on Taco Bell. Listen, I'm bullish on Taco Bell too. A lot of people hate on Taco Bell. I'll say this. I think it's because people's stomachs get hurt when they eat Taco Bell. Mine doesn't really get. My stomach only hurts. I notice my stomach only hurts when I drink a lot of liquid and I eat a lot of food at the same time. When it comes to food, if it's just food, I can just eat that food, right? And I'll get full, but I'll never get sick. It doesn't matter what kind of food it is. I can eat so much of it and not get full and don't get a stomach ache. If I drink a lot of liquid and food, bro, I'm done. I'm on the toilet 8 times in the next day. I think that's why a lot of people don't like Taco Bell. I'll say this. If you ever want a good bang for your buck, like you want a lot of food for a low price, it used to be you want to go to McDonald's. Now, bro, McDonald's is a freaking steakhouse now. You want to get a meal at McDub's? It's like freaking $13 for a double corner pounder and fries. Like, what the frick? McDonald's used to be the cheap restaurant. Now it's Taco Bell. You want it good, like big, like you want like 6 items for $10. Taco Bell is your thing. You go to Taco Bell and that's where you're getting full for a cheap price. That's where you're getting full. All the other ones, they're not cheap anymore. You know, there's not really anywhere that's cheap. Honestly, some of like the little street, huh? Oh, I haven't been there in a long time. Oh my God, I went there maybe, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago. But it was after the whole inflation thing. But yeah, McDonald's is a restaurant. It is a restaurant. And think of any of them. Burger King's not cheap. Wendy's ain't cheap. I'll say this. You're better off going to some of the carts on the side of the street. You're better off going to like get some halal food or actually stay away from the Mexican carts. They're ripping you off at those ones. You get 3 little small tacos for $15. Stay away from that. You ain't even gonna get even close to full. You ain't even gonna get avocado.
You're just gonna get like
yeah.
green sauce.
You go to some of these Mexican carts over here, bro. They give you a taco shell, lettuce, a little bit of chicken, rice, no guac, no sour cream, $15. It's like, dude, what? I can just make my own tacos. Like, why am I gonna pay $15 for some rice, lettuce, and chicken? Like, what the frick? Bitcoin is cheap. Anyways, looking at some other stuff. So AVAX. We've been FTT. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this one, but I'm looking to buy FTT. I am looking to buy FTT. Okay? You guys already know why I'm looking to buy FTT, because the chart is clean. It's clean, bro. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this one. But I feel like FTT, I'm looking to buy FTT in this white, you see this white box? I'm looking to buy FTT in that white box. And I will get the opportunity to buy FTT in that white box. I've been so patient on this one. I got so close, I didn't get there yet. I've been so patient on FTT. I am buying FTT in that white box. Okay? I'm confident in this one. Just said, don't do it, guys. This is my one, okay? I'm gonna get hate for this one, but I feel like this one's gonna be a freaking winner, man. I feel like there's something going on behind the scenes with FTT, and this one's gonna be a freaking winner. So, yeah, I'm looking to buy FTT in this white box. Still think it's got lower though. Why? Because you got the 1 hit, the 2 hits. I want to see those lows taken out. Take out those lows, come back in, boom, boom, shakalaka. There we go. But yeah, I'm looking to buy FTT in that white box. What else do we got, man? What's another pop one? Cardano. Yeah, he didn't break the low. I would have loved way more if you broke these lows. It's the same kind of thing as AVAX. I would have loved if you broke the lows here for Cardanzo. Cardanzo, Salonzo. Remember when, what was his freaking name? Jim. I forget his name now, man. I haven't even seen that guy in forever. You're saying Cardanzo and Salonzo? You know? Anderson said, me and Jordan are FTT bros. Anderson, are you getting in an FTT? Dude, I've been so patient on that one. I've wanted a FOMO so many times. I've been waiting for that final dip. Free Dokkan. Cardano, I'm not really looking to buy any Cardano this time. Cardano was one of my best gainers in 2020. But I'm not interested in it this time, but I know a lot of people are. Yeah, you're at the low. Like I'm not going to hate on you for DCAing at 25, 26 cents. It's a fantastic level, right? And I could be wrong. I just think that you're going to break these lows one more time. You're going to break those lows again. That's what I think. But if you want a DCA 26, 27 cents, I ain't going to hate on you for it, man. You know, I will hate on you for DCA at 44, but not 24. What's another one, guys? Give me some. Doge, man. Doge. The Doges, bro. The Doges. We've compared the Doge cycle to the last cycle. It's doing the same thing. Doge is funny, man. Doge is doing the same thing as last cycle. Right? It basically bottomed here, big spike up, slow, drawn out time capitulation. You finally get a move up. Oh, we got some bullish news. Boom, COVID crash. Right? Look at, we're doing the same thing. Boom. This time we're crashing for different reasons. Supposedly there's a rumor. I don't know if you guys saw this. I probably shouldn't even be talking about it on the stream. I don't know if you guys heard this rumor. Look where we are in the Doge chart, right? This was the COVID crash right here. This was the COVID crash right here, man. See this? Wonk! Right to the downside. Isn't it funny that this was around the time last time where you started getting these rumors? Now, I don't know if you guys have heard some of these rumors, but there's rumors now that we're going to be going back to some of these COVID protocols starting in September. That would just be fantastic. The timing would be impeccable. It would be the exact same time in the cycle last time that this happened. The timing would be absolutely impeccable. But, you know, it's kind of funny where Doge is, like, right when, you know, we're kind of seeing this big crash. You know, and, you know, it'll be interesting to see if Doge makes a new low, too. It's impeccable. I don't know if you guys saw those rumors, though. Like, again, they're rumors. I'm not saying they're true or not. Yeah, they're saying starting in September, they're going to be, I think, Maj, but it's September or October, they said. Oh, October. October, they're going to be starting all this mass shit again. So get ready for that. Like I said, I don't know if it's true or not. But it wouldn't surprise me. ETC, which we've also been looking at the ETC fractal. What's funny about the ETC chart is it's also doing the same thing it did last time, where you had this basically first initial impulse. You thought, okay, we're good. Then you saw this last capitulation down, right over here, right? And ETC's been one that's been performing pretty similar to how it did last time. You basically got to move back up to the top, just like we did back here in June. Boom, right back to the low. The question is, once again, are we going to see a new low for ETC? We don't really know. Once again, I ain't going to hate on you for DCAing at the bottom of the range. The one right now that everyone's scared of, and I'm going to be honest, if there's ever one that I'm scared of something happening, it's BNB. You know, because once again, we find BNB at the bottom of the range. This time, it's actually lower than it was in June. In December, we're actually coming down to test the June low. You know, this is the one thing in the market that's got me a little bit like, what's going to happen with this? And I'll say this. Wouldn't it be poetic? And, you know, I don't want this to happen, okay? But I've always said this. Wouldn't it be poetic that the one thing everyone's been fighting all year, which has been BNB, okay? Because here's the thing, guys, right? Something's got to give here. But it seems like every time we come down to this level for BNB, Bitcoin somehow finds a bounce, right? So something's got to give here, right? If you're bearish on Bitcoin right now, and you think Bitcoin's going to, I mean, listen, I don't know what's going to happen in the short term. Bitcoin could go lower, right? We all know this. You can't predict short term price action up to a certain point. Like, but I'll say this: if you think Bitcoin's going to 20K, 19, 18, something like that, which I actually don't think is out of the realm of possibility, BNB is not going to hold this range. It's just not going to happen. So something's got to give, you know, because as we know, like, CZ tries to hold this price here, Because if he knows if this dumps below here, then all of a sudden you got the same chart as FTT. And we know what happened with FTT. We compared the two charts before, they look the exact same. It's kind of freaky, actually. Wouldn't it be poetic when the exact time that last time you had the COVID crash, that Bitcoin sort of continues down, BNB gets a capitulation, right? And that sort of marks the ultimate last low for the crypto market. That would be absolutely poetic. Not in a nice way. I actually think CZ's a nice guy. I actually don't want that to happen. So, but like, it wouldn't surprise me if something like that happened, because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. CZ could be the best guy in the world, but if ever, it's like you're like manifesting it to happen. If everyone's scared of using Binance, how are they gonna make money? You know what I mean? So, it'll be interesting, man. But you know, it seems like every time we come down here and there's Binance fears, Bitcoin finds a bounce. Maybe it happens again. So we'll see. We'll see, man. It's obviously a we'll see situation. I will never get. Oh God, no, guys, don't start talking about that stuff. I didn't want you guys to start talking about it. I basically just wanted to tell you there were some rumors that's like stuff was going to happen again. Dude, there's so much crazy shit happening in the world right now, man. I feel like every month that goes by, the world just gets weirder and weirder and weirder, and just like, whether it's weather or natural disasters or people, or I don't know, man. It's getting worse. Like the wildfires in Hawaii, man. Hope everyone's doing okay. If you guys are out there, you got family out there or anything like that, hope everyone's doing okay. But this shit's crazy. You got these fires in Canada, absolutely crazy, man. Hope no one's affected by that. And you know, there's so much crazy shit in the world right now, dude. It's insane. But anyways, it's like there's a black, I don't know, like the way I'm thinking about it is like this. It's almost like there's some type of black swan that we just don't know about, because there's so much shit going on. You know what I mean? Like there's like 8 things that could be a black swan. You know, like there's so much shit going on, dude. The simulation's getting good. It is getting real freaking good, man. Now we got China's economy shit in the bed. We got China maybe starting to print money again, which historically Bitcoin performs the best when China's economy does well. I will say that. So if China starts printing money again, typically that would be a good thing for BTC. But man, there's crazy shit. Crazy shit. Joe, what are your thoughts on Michael Burry's stock market 1.6 billion short? I'll say this about Michael Burry. He's been right and he's been wrong. Right? He's famous for the big short, right? He's famous for his 2008 call. But there's also been many, many times since then he's also called for another crash, and he's been really wrong. You know, and I've seen this on some of the things he called, like, right, as obviously he has a big short in right now, doing pretty well. He was also short. You can find a tweet from him. I think it was you can find a tweet from him right here. I think it was like the late October. And he basically tweeted, "You have no idea how short I am right now." You know what I mean? So like, that's the thing about these perma bears, man. They're always bearish. So like, whenever the market does bad, they're like, "Oh my God, this guy's a genius." But in reality, they're always freaking bearish, you know? And you can find many tweets and stuff from this guy that, you know, he's short in every single level, right? Eventually you're going to be right, you know? And that's fine. Like, the thing is, you don't always have to be right to make money in the market. You only have to be right. Like, you can be right 20% of the time and still make money. That's a lot of people don't understand about the market. Like, you can be wrong more than you're right and still make money. Doesn't even it makes sense. Think about it. If you're wrong, right? Say if you have a support level and you're wrong, but you say, okay, if it breaks the support level, I'm cutting it for like a 2% loss. Okay, cool. So you were wrong, but you only lost 2%. Right? Let's say you come down to another support level, right? And you buy it and you say, I'm gonna sell if it breaks below this again for a 2% loss. But this time, right? Let's say it breaks again. All right, you get a 2% loss again. Okay, cool. So now you're over 2, right? 4% loss. Comes down another support. You say, I'm gonna long this one. 2%, right? But this time it bounces 20%. All right, so you were 1 for 3, but boom, you're up 16%. You know what I mean? So you can be wrong many, many times. It's just about cutting your losses small, right? And getting your wins big. That's why like buying low is so important. Being precise on your buys is so important because then you can know when you want to cut it, right? Or when you just want to let it ride, right? Who cares about Burry short right now though? If XPX shows some strength here, Bitcoin will rip. Yeah, I agree. You know what right now feels like? You know, and it's a weird time in the market because it just feels like there's so much fear in so many different aspects. You know, now you have China, right? We have inflation that people think it's going to go back up, right? We have recession, right? We have, I mean, just in Bitcoin world, we have BNB at support, which people are afraid of. You know, we got, what else do we got? What else do we got, guys? There's more than this. I'm missing something. Here. Oh, we got Elon, arguably the most, I mean, people will hate on this, but he's arguably the most important. I would say out of all like the celebrity crypto guys, he probably has the most influence in the market. You have Elon supposedly selling all of SpaceX's Bitcoin. I feel like it's just a giant FUD machine right now, and there's nothing positive. But when I go back and I look at, you know, this uptrend, right? You can go back to any one of these local lows, and it was all negative shit, right? It was all negative shit. And what's funny is if you go to any of the local highs, it's all positive shit. You know? It's all positive shit, man. What was going on up here? BlackRock, right? BlackRock's getting into crypto. XRP wins the court case, right? All good shit here. But on the lows, it's all bad shit. It's crazy, man. It's like climbing the wall of worry, as they call it. As you're, you know, every single dip, there's a reason why you dip, and you get your panties in a bunch. The big fear is, though, I think people understand that bad news causes lows. I think that the hardest thing to always realize is, you know, at some point, the bad news that causes lows is gonna be bad news enough to actually break a previous low. You know, and is that gonna be right now? That's just what we don't know. That's just what we don't know. Oh yeah, there's also credit card debt is at the all-time high. 1 trillion plus in credit card debt in the U.S., which that's a ticking time bomb. Oh, and there's also student loan debt. Students have to start paying student loans again. So you basically have student loans that have to be paid back as credit card debt is at all-time highs. You know what I mean? Which, to me, and this stuff all sounds bad, but to me, this screams that something's gonna break. Something's gonna break. I feel like, you know, because I'm in a little conundrum at the moment, right? I almost feel like something's eventually gonna break. Which I actually think when something breaks, that'll actually be bullish. Because we know when last time something broke, initially it was bearish, but then the market had its biggest bull run in history the year after, you know? So I don't know, man. I feel like there's so much shit that could go wrong, but there's certain things that could go wrong that could actually turn out being eventually bullish, because then the Fed's going to have to start printing money again, you know? And we all know, and I think we all like to ignore this fact, but we all know that assets typically go up because the Fed prints the damn money. I think we all know that, right? You know, the major rallies, like new all-time highs and shit like that, usually happens because the Fed is printing some type of money, you know? Could be the banks. Yeah, it could be the banks. Last time banks went down, Bitcoin roared to the upside. Maybe we get some bigger banking crisis because you see all these banks getting downgraded on their credit, right? That's another thing. It's just a giant FUD machine right now, man. But always the biggest question is, FUD is FUD until it's not. Like eventually one of these things will not be FUD. It'll be the truth. You know, it's just figuring out when that's going to be. There's also the daily close. Oh yeah, we got the daily close. We got the daily close, guys. Sorry about that. Let's get that rolling here.
The daily close.
Let's go, man. Let's go. What sound do money printers make? I think that's the biggest my biggest fear is the younger generation's getting screwed here, man. I've always said this. Like the older generation, they've already made all their money, right? You know what I'm saying? They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about us young people. Let's be honest. It's the younger generation that's getting screwed. You know what I mean? They have to deal with huge inflation, right? Huge inflation. Now, right? They thought they were going to get away with not paying their student loans. Now they're coming back while inflation's roaring. You know what I mean? And they're already in credit card debt. You know, like the younger generation gets screwed. And home prices are ridiculous, like way too high. That's way into at some point that's going to pop. Rent prices are way too high. Eventually that's going to pop. You know, but it is what it is. It is what it is, man. Oh, man. All right. It's a daily close, fellas, by the way.
Daily close.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Ah. All right. Daily close, guys. We closed at a measly 26,141. So another nothing burger weekend as we kind of just, you know, just measly around in the weekend because we haven't done anything during the weekends. So we got that going for us. Screw you, younglings. Thanks, Mike. Let's see. They never stopped printing, just less. True, man. Your mom said Black Swan this fall. Get ready, bringing in new digital financial system. Oh, the occasional gambler. I forgot about your super chat, man. He said, "What's up, Jordan? Watching you for a while, unfortunately on my TV, so I couldn't send any super chats. Thank you for entertaining during the craziness. I know everything is based on Bitcoin. However, can you look at INJ? There's a lot of hype on INJ, man. I've seen it all over Twitter. INJ. This one is one that, like, look at this chart. It didn't even, that capitulation last week, this one actually closed the week green. That's insane. If any alt closed the week green last week, after the shit show that last week was, it's strong as shit. To me, I don't even think you can really say anything about this. You know? It closed last week green, even though the market shit the bed. You know, like, that's insane. So, you know, obviously it's been going sideways since about April, which is cool. I think for this one, let's zoom out a little bit. Let's do a little zoomy zoom. Yeah, I mean, you just been going sideways for the last 5 months. I mean, you had a huge January and February and March. Absolutely insane run up there. But you just been holding. So we just mark out our range, and I guess at this point, right? If I was looking to enter this, I'm not really know if I'm interested here. But if you did get something crazy, right? If you did get something crazy like this and you kind of swoop back below here, damn, that would be a good entry. But this one's been strong as shit. So like looking for any type of pullback on that is tough, because even last week when Bitcoin dumped, this thing didn't even move. So that might be kind of a hoping for something that may not happen, you know? But yeah, you're just range bound. Up, down, up, down. You're in the middle of the range now. You know, not really much else to say besides that. Even though like this one's just incredibly high from the lows. You know? This is one that you're probably feeling pretty comfy, right? If your entry was anywhere down here last year, you know? So that's that one, dude. Teresa's super bullish on, or super bearish on Domino's. I like Domino's. Domino's puts the garlic on the bottom of the crust, which makes it absolutely delicious. Because I'm a big garlic guy. I'll tell you this, though. Garlic makes your breath smell like shit. Shit. Absolute shit. And now I'm like kind of grossed out with the garlic, because I told you guys about that pasta that I made. And it was in the fridge, and every time the fridge opened, it was like a garlicky burp. So now I'm kind of like grossed out by garlic. All chain pizza sucks, said Scorpion. I don't agree. I don't agree. Can I say this? I'll say this, man. I actually think a lot of the chain pizza is better than the mom and pop pizza. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of these mom and pop places are overrated. You know, and that's just my opinion. I think there's this place over here. I forget what it's called. But it's like a mom and pop place. It's not a chain. They just don't, their sauce has no flavor. And it's like that from multiple places. And I'm like, and the prices are double the price. I'm like, I don't know, man. I actually think my favorite, I actually really liked Papagino's, but you can't really find Papagino's anymore. I really like Papagino's. I actually like Domino's. A lot of the mom and pop places are just overrated, man. Just overrated, dude. The import noise on my way to kick your ass. Oh my god, dude. Please don't send them on my way to kick my ass. Don't come kick me. No one kick my ass. Let me see what you guys are saying. Wow, way to support your local businesses. Listen. I say this, man. Can I rant real quick?
Rant alert.
I'm gonna rant real quick, man, because I can't take this shit. I will gladly support a local business if it makes good food. I'm not gonna support a local business if it makes shit food. And if that makes me a dick, I'm sorry. But I eat at a restaurant for good tasting food. You know what I'm saying? And that, like I said, that could make me a dick. I would gladly support a place that makes good food. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to support a place just because it's in my community. Just because it's there. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. If I get your pizza and it has no flavor, I'm not going to go get a large pizza spending $28 to get a large pizza at your shitty pizza restaurant. I ain't going to do it. I ain't going to do it. I'm going to buy it from a place that I like. You know? It is what it is. Sorry you have to get barbecue in New York. Dude, there's no good barbecue in New York. Zero, man. We were taking a walk today and that shitty barbecue place was there again. That's like the only barbecue place in New York. Friggin' Dallas barbecue. Trash. The ribs were like so small. Even my microwave ribs were better than those. Those things were trash. They didn't have any meat on them, man. I'll never go to that place again. Horrible. I'm just ranting.
Rant alert.
I got a baked potato. And it was a plain baked potato. They didn't even cut it in half and put butter in it. It was just a baked potato, no cut, Plain.
No salt.
No salt, no butter, no sour cream, no bacon. That place was trash, man. You know what I mean? Don't order the baby backs. Oh, the baby back ribs.
That's what you got, no?
I did get the baby back ribs.
What about the extra 20% off fee?
Yeah. Where do you get your microwave ribs? Oh, the microwave ribs were originally grilled on the grill, and then I was a few drinks in, so and I don't want. I told you guys this. When you're a few drinks in, you don't want to wait for them to cook in the oven, or re-grill them. You're just gonna throw them in the microwave. And honestly, they couldn't have been better. They were the best ribs. You guys love this story. They're the best ribs I've ever had. Maj doesn't even like pork. And I asked her if she wanted one. She ate it. And normally if I say you want another one, she'll go, no, it's yours. This time, she was like, she just took the fork out of my hand and just started eating it.
I said, thank you.
Your mom said, come to my Texas, bro? Oh, I'm sure Texas has a lot of good food. Probably too much. I'd probably come back 10 pounds heavier than I am now if I went to Texas, even for like a week-long vacation. You know? Now a Texas State Trooper and Dave Portnoy are on the way. Next time you're in Florida, I'll throw down on the grill. Beach is 15 minutes away. Yeah, Kennedy. Listen, man. Eventually it'll be vacation time. A place called Dahmer's Fresh Ribs is an upcoming rib place. In New York? Dahmer's Fresh Ribs? Why if it scares me that they're called fresh ribs. Because if they're really fresh, why do you have to put fresh in the name? You know what I mean? Like they should just automatically be fresh. I'm always skeptical whenever I see any business with the name fresh in their name. Because it should just be a foregone conclusion that something's fresh. Like if I saw like if McDonald's was called McDonald's Fresh Burger, I would be very skeptical that those burgers were fresh. You know? I don't know. That's the way I'm thinking. I don't know, man. Oh, Jeffrey Dahmer's fresh. You're saying they're human ribs. I just got the joke. I got the joke, guys. I got the joke. Oh, what was the fear ingredient next? Did we get any more fear? Probably not. 38. We're still scared, but not really that scared. We need some extreme fear. One more dip down, I think you would get some extreme fear. This price action right here looks kind of shitty. This looks like some shit. This looks like it wants to go test the low again. Which usually you do anyways, like you guys know. Like if it's any short-term price action like this, usually you see a hit to the low and then you see a second hit to the low. But yeah, if you get one more daily like that pushes down to the 25Ks, I'm sure there's going to be some extreme fear in the market. Yo, shout out to Shibby News! What's going on, bro? Shout out to you. I don't know. I think you guys kind of get the general gist of the market right now. Like, I'm looking to add onto some of these that I already bought. Like, I would love if Link came back down to 550. If it does, I'll buy some more. OP, if OP wants to, I mean, OP just bounced pretty good. If OP wants to come back down into here, you know, I'd even buy it in this wick. F it. If OP wants to come back down and, you know, below 110, I'll buy some more. Render, I'm kind of waiting on. Like, Render, I want to buy back into these retracement levels. Shit. Looking to buy some Render if it comes a little bit lower. I've already talked about FTT. FTT, if it comes into my white box, right in here, that'd be pretty juicy. We'll see if it gets there though. Then I just had like some small caps. Like I have a bunch of small caps that I've looked into that I want to buy. I've already done some of them. This one, an XRA, nice range. An XRA, if it wants to come test these lows again, let's go, man. RDNT, you actually wick down here. If it wants to come fill this wick, let's go. I'm getting in. You guys get the point, man. The problem with the altcoin market is there's so many now and people like different ones. You guys get the general sentiment, man. I mean, like, you guys get it at this point. Anyone that's still in the market, there ain't no new people coming into crypto right now. You know what I mean? I've sort of said this. There ain't no new peeps coming into crypto right now. So you guys that are still here, you get the general feeling, man. I don't feel like I have to explain it every day. Nor do I want to explain it every day. Better than leftovers, bar and grill. Dude, you guys got to chill with the microwave ribs, man. Listen, what's wrong with the microwave? I don't understand this. I don't understand this. The microwave is fine. You just have to know how to microwave. You got to know how to microwave, man. There's an art to microwaving. You don't want to microwave too little because then it's inconsistent. And you don't want to microwave too much because then it dries out your food. But if you know the art of microwaving, then there's no problem with microwaving. Okay? But you got to be good at it. It's just like being good at grilling or putting stuff in the oven. You got to know how to microwave food. You know? There's an art to it. There's a certain form of microwaving. And now I'll say this. There is some food that's better not microwave. Like if I get Chinese food and I'm eating it the next day, it's better cold. It's better cold. You got to know what foods to microwave and not microwave. There's also an art to that too. You know, there's some like pizza. A lot of times pizza, it depends on the kind. If you're getting pepperoni pizza, eat that shit cold. If you're getting buffalo chicken pizza, put that shit in the microwave if it's leftovers. You got to get the art of microwave. You got to get it down. I'm telling you, man.
Chicken broccoli is the only thing that is disgusting the next day.
Chicken broccoli?
Yeah, cold or microwave.
Oh, both? Maj said chicken broccoli is disgusting, microwaved or cold. It is because the broccoli starts smelling.
No, it's the chicken.
And the chicken. Bass said barbecue is about drinking beer in the yard for 4 to 24 hours, though. And a microwave won't do that. Yeah. That is true. That is true. Like, if it's true barbecue, yeah, you want to be just sitting there next to your grill, drinking beers, and then kind of just, like, cooking it while it's... Yes. But I like to say this, guys. I ain't trying to have when I'm microwaving my ribs, I'm not trying to have a barbecue. I'm just trying to eat the ribs quick. You know what I mean? So you gotta understand. There's a difference between having a barbecue day where you're cooking burgers and hot dogs and shit on the grill versus just wanting to eat quick. You know, you gotta understand. Like this is the art of microwaving. Oh shit! All right, can we guys want to talk about some dirty shit again? All right, let's talk about some dirty shit again. So we talked a little bit. What do you guys think about this chart, by the way? How do you guys feel about the Bitcoin dominance chart? We talked about this earlier. If you missed it, we know that it looks like we're coming to test the top of the range. If we break back into the range, this is Wyckoff redistribution in here. Which actually, we've talked about this could either be bullish or bearish. A lot of people get the assumption that just because Bitcoin dominance goes down means altcoins pump. That ain't what it means. That ain't what it means, fellas. I don't know how to think about this. The only clue that I have with this, right? And obviously, like I said, this could just bounce and Bitcoin can get a bounce and we don't talk about this anymore, right? Obviously, we're just at a crucial level going into this week. The only clue that I have with this is we've been screaming ETH BTC for like a couple months now. It's at the 702 retracement. It's building a base. You actually got a really nice weekly candle last week. Bitcoin dumped more than ETH did last week, which you almost never see on those big capitulation days. Usually ETH gets pummeled. Pummeled! Drew said, leave for 50 minutes. You're still talking about Bitcoin dominance. We're going back to Bitcoin dominance, man. We didn't talk about it for 50 minutes. You just got unlucky, and we talked about it 50 minutes ago and now. You just got super unlucky, man. What we do? We've been talking about this falling wedge on ETH BTC, man. It's gonna break out eventually. We'll see. What's USDT? Look at this, man. This is USDT dominance. This has been in almost like a symmetrical triangle for, I mean, since June of last year, right? Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, back to the highs. What's interesting about this, eventually this is going to break out. I mean, obviously a triangle has to break out at some point. It's a frickin' triangle, though. You know how I feel about the fucking triangles. They're useless. They could break either way. It's so useless, man. But what I'll say about this is Bitcoin's lows have come in when this top triangle has gotten hit, right? This was the June low. This was the FTX low. This was the secondary FTX low. This was the June low that we had last time, and this is now, right? And then the tops have been actually when this is hit here at the lows of the triangle, right? So I'm interested to see how this one plays out. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be freaking weird. Which direction will this break? I have no freaking clue. It's the triangles don't help you. They're useless patterns. But what we can say about this is, you know, once again, where does the apex come, right? Because that's all we can really take from this is when could we expect volatility from this? You know, it's coming in March 2024, you know, which is right before the halving, funny enough. So USDT dominance kind of getting a little tight in here, but, you know, these times that we've gone up here, these have marked local lows for BTC. This time could be different though, right? Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got for you mofos. Dollar's just been crushing it to the upside. You finally broke out of this trend line, both the trend lines. Dollar's looking pretty good. But what I know about the dollar, see, now we're getting the opposite problem, guys, right? What was the narrative at the lows for the dollar? Oh, all the countries are stop using the dollar. Oh, all this, right? So the bad news for the dollar marks the low, as always. Dollar comes up. What are you hearing now? One of the countries that wants to stop using the dollar is supposedly in the gutter. So now, what does the retail person think? The retail person thinks China's economy is in the gutter. People are going to want to use the dollar again. You know what I mean? So it almost makes me think that now people are bullish on the dollar. The dollar is going to come down now. You know? It's just the opposite, right? All the countries not using the dollar. Now everyone's bullish on the dollar again because the economy, because China's shit in the bed. Japan shit, right? Wouldn't surprise me if the dollar started going down again. But we'll see, right? Obviously, it's been strong. It's been pretty strong. Besides that, it's a waiting game, fellas. All in all, summed up, I think we can just look at this chart and I think 8 months from now, if it's going to be like the last two cycles, we should expect 8 months from now, Bitcoin should be right in here, right before the halving, somewhere around the low 30K levels. Which is funny enough because that's right at our resistance levels. Wouldn't surprise me at all. 31K. That's my prediction. Where will Bitcoin be at the halving? 31K. 8 months from now. So the way I look at it, the lower I can buy from 31K, the better, right? So that's that. Let's get this shit. Stay live for the China Open. The China Open, bro. The China frickin' Open. Well, the China Open. When is the China Open? I don't know when the China Open is. The China Open would be interesting for the China stock market. Oh, Lord. Mr. Hart said, Giordano, XRP BAC. What's going on, XRP? XRP had a big bounce today. What's interesting about the XRP chart is like the massive capitulation on XRP. Like this was one of the bigger capitulations. Like last week, you saw XRP decline. Dude, I mean, we're talking 33%. Right? So retail just absolutely coughed up everything. Because you know when retail sells, they ain't going to sell on the initial impulse down. They're going to sell on the bottom half of that wick. That's when retail sells. You know they're all getting liquidated and selling their spot on the bottom 17% of this wick. So retail just got absolutely fried on that move down. But what's interesting about this chart is you wick down, you basically took out the lows after you pumped, right? So this was the initial pump point. Boom, you get a big pump. Everyone gets super, super bullish, right? We come down. We think, oh, it's going to be a nice little retest. Boom, you take out all the people who longed here, right? All the people who got bullish up here, probably panic sold at the bottom of this wick. And then you come back up, you actually close right back at those back tests of those highs. Very interesting. Like this, all the altcoins don't look like the big capitulation candles, but this XRP candle, that looks like a bottom candle to me, right? This is a bottom, at least a local bottom candle. You know, like that's a capitulation candle right there. You know, like you see these candles at lows, right? Because that marks capitulation and people just giving up. And what's funny is it actually ended up closing back above these highs. So, be interesting, bro. But not all the altcoin market looks like this. XRP looks like that. It's interesting. So, we'll see. Oh, you want me to look at XRP... What is it? XRP BAC? Bank of America Corporation? What's this? What's this chart, my friend? What is this chart? Mr. Hart, what am I taking from this, buddy? What am I taking from this, buddy? I don't know what to take from this. I guess we're back at the high. I don't know what to take from this, man. Open interest rising. Tis is the season. Mirth said something big's gonna happen soon. Yeah, like I said, like XRP. Oh, that's buying is right here. Yeah. Honestly, I think the XRP USD chart just shows just the absolute, just massive capitulation. Like this is you don't see this candle. Like I said, it could just be a local low. But when you see these big red candles with those big wicks on the lows, typically you're going to see some type of bounce. You know, I'm just kind of going back and looking. Like you've had some times where you get a big red candle down, and you see a second red week. You know, big red candle down, you see a second red week. But a lot of those you actually ended up bouncing from. So like this big capitulation, you ended up bouncing. This big capitulation, you ended up bouncing. So I think we're getting an interesting time, I will say, as a lot of altcoins actually had big like wicks of their lows, where some of them I think, you know, I would love, like I wish they wicked a little bit lower. The chart would look better if they wicked a little bit lower. Like SHIB, oh my God, SHIB. That's why I tell you guys, buy low, don't buy the FOMO, man. We were talking about SHIB over here. Okay, SHIB starts moving up. We were talking about SHIB 2 months before Shibarium. We kept saying SHIB's chart looks bullish. It's probably because Shibarium is going to be coming out in a few months. What happens? Price starts pumping before Shibarium. Shibarium launches, boom! Dump to the downside. Right as all the big news channels start talking about Shib. Remember this for next time, guys. This is the most important lesson you can learn is when you see big news for an altcoin, you want to be out of that shit or at least buy in lower. Don't be buying it right before the damn news. You're going to get fried. Right? And I've always liked to say this. Listen, I love George. George is awesome. When he starts talking about an altcoin right as news is coming out, that ain't the time to be buying, bro. You know, that's the time to either sell or wait for the dip because the dip is coming. Yeah, that was a 33% dump. 33% dumperoni, bro, on the Shibanichi. But once again, like this type of candle, that's you know, it's not like the biggest candle, but when you look back at some of these bigger candles, you know, other than obviously like the year-long bear, but when you look at like the consolidation phases, those big candles with the wick on the lows ended up, you know, usually marking somewhere near the low. So we'll see, man. We'll see. As we know, it all comes down to daddy, though. If daddy wants to misbehave, then the kids are going to misbehave too. They're going to do what daddy does. Ah! Let's see. What use does Shiba have on Shibarium? I've always said this, man. Listen, I'm going to be on... Listen, most altcoins, it's speculation. But as soon as you understand that, you won't get mad about it. Some people get mad when I say, listen, the fundamentals of your altcoin don't matter. People get mad. But that's the truth. Crypto's about speculation at this point, guys. It's the narratives matter when they're hot. But if you own an altcoin, it could have the best fundamentals in the world. But if that's not the narrative right now, it ain't gonna do shit. You know how many perfect altcoins that have the perfect tokenomics and perfect fundamentals and low gas fees and this, and they just don't do shit? Because no one, like, it's all about speculation. It's all about hype, you know? And as soon as you come to realize that, the sooner you will not get angry when something doesn't pump. You'll just understand, okay, it's not hyped right now. It is what it is, you know? Let's see. Run, get the chopper. Just no use case and no decentralization. There's probably like 10 altcoins that, I'm going to be honest, there's probably like 10 altcoins that actually do something. You know what I mean? You know, and what I mean by do something, it's not staking, it's not staking or, you know, what all of them do. I'm talking about do something like very, like in particular. Any L1 can come out with staking. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. But like, as far as something that actually helps the world, there's probably like 10 altcoins that actually do that. You know, like, there really ain't much. There really ain't much. At least at this time. You know, that could change. Bass said, so Jordan, how far are we going down in September? 5-10%? Bath, I have no freaking clue. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really care. You know what? I don't really care. That's the thing. I really don't. You know? Like, I don't care if Bitcoin's going to go to 28K, pump 8% in September, or it's going to go down 24K. Because to be honest, I'm probably not going to be doing anything with it anyways. You know what I mean? And that's why I say, if I actually had to choose, where I actually want Bitcoin to go in the short term, I wouldn't mind if it went lower. You know what I mean? If I had to choose. I wouldn't mind. Because like I said, I ain't selling my Bitcoin at 28K, right? I ain't selling my Bitcoin at 28K. I ain't selling it at 24K. You know what I mean? So I don't really care where it is. As soon as you realize that, it's like, what do you really care where Bitcoin is in the short term? I guess, like I said, if I had to choose, I feel like if we saw something like this, and this is my biggest thing, and obviously this is not me being ultra bearish. Like, I'm pretty neutral at the moment. I don't really feel any emotions. You know, I just don't feel any emotions. That's just kind of where I am. It's a weird time. Like, I don't feel like, I just feel neutral about the market, right? The way I'm looking at this is if this wants to come test this trend line again, I'm going to look at that as like the generational sort of capitulation of the market, right? So like this trend line right here, right? It's obviously a trend line. We just broke a trend line. So obviously trend lines are meant to be broken. But like this one, which is more of a macro trend line, we've held it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times on a close, 5 times, 6 times. If this wants to do something like this again, like the COVID crash or something like that, where we get like one big capitulation down, maybe to 21, 20, we wick lower maybe, bring it on, man. I'm looking at that as like the generational capitulation of the market right there. We saw that last time, you know? And I think being open to anything is fine. And that's the thing, like, that's why I'm very content with I am, because right now, if Bitcoin was going back to 20K, I'd be happy. Because like I said, for the next 4 months, I want to buy more anyways. And then if it went up, I already got my bags packed. I'm ready to go. So either way, I don't really care. That's the thing. It's just getting through this time. You know, it's just getting through this time. But if it doesn't, like I said, if it just wants to go up, let's go. Let's freaking go, man. At this point, I'm just looking at the market like this. I actually think, you know, if we just look at where we were in the past, like, within, like, what happens in the next, between now and October is pretty interesting. Like, because in the 2019 market, at this point, we actually got a little bit of a pump into September, right? We got like a small little pump into September, and then we dumped back down again. And then in the 2015 cycle, we actually had a big capitulation around this time, right here, and then recovered later. But it looks like I said, like, if it's going to be anything like the previous cycles, we should be, in theory, you know, right where we are now, you know, in this zone anyways. You know, like, so that's why I don't think it really matters. I think it's more likely we just kind of like chop, you know, up here at this point, you know. But we'll see. We'll see, man. I will say this, like, I still don't want to think that the hash ribbons buy indicator is also invalidated just yet. Because we've seen the hash ribbons buy signal flash by, we've gotten a red candle, and then we've gone up after. You know what I mean? And I think that's setting up very, very nicely. I just don't know what happens this week. Like, what's going down this week? What's going down this week? The stock market still has to fill these gaps. Doesn't have to, but they typically do. NASDAQ's pretty close to filling the gap. So maybe you get one more week of down, right? S&P's pretty close to filling the gap. Maybe you get one more little week of down. So what happens for Bitcoin if it gets one more week down? Who the frick knows? Who the frick knows, man? Coca-Cola right mirth. What do you guys think? Jordy is bearish? No, I'm neutral. I'm not bearish. I'm not really bearish, though. To me, and here's the thing. I always pay attention to what people are saying on Twitter and stuff. And like I said, a lot of the big accounts, what I've noticed, a lot of these big traders, they're all waiting for like this big capitulation down. But every single one of them is like, okay, if Bitcoin gets a big capitulation down to like 20K, I'm a buyer. Every single one of them. So my take is I'm not really bearish. But if there is a capitulation down, I think it gets bought up really freaking quick. really freaking quick. Like if we test this trend line right here, I think it gets bought up very, very quick. Just like it has in every single time we've tested this trend line, right? So I'm not really bearish. It's just that like these type of things you can't really predict. But if it does get a flush down, I think it gets bought up very quick. You know, that's my thing. I think everyone's kind of looking for that like 20K entry, you know? What do you guys think? What do you guys think, man? Everyone's got an opinion right now. What do you guys think, man? But at the same point, we got the hash ribbons buy signal. So like, it's a hard market right now, man. And I've always said this. I think this is the year where you buy as low as you can and you just sit on your hands, right? You just sit on your mother effing hands. Don't try to trade the market in and out. You're probably going to get left in the dust at some point. Just buy low and sit on your damn hands, man. Let's see. George sell indicator was popping off. Teresa's drunk. Tom says, Keith said, I think we going up. If we go up, that's good. Let's go, man. I'm ready for it too. I am ready for it too, man. I'm looking for the lows to be taken and destroy everyone at 9 to 12K. 9 to 12K. Listen, I will never laugh at something like that. Because, like we talked about earlier, there's just so many shit shows in the world right now. It just seems like, and I think it's kind of a psyop, but it just seems like there's so many potential black swans. But the black swans, what people don't understand about black swans is black swans are actually bullish. They're bearish initially. You're going to see a big sell-off in any type of big black swan initially. But the black swans tend to be the most bullish times. You know, and what I mean by that is when you see these big black swan events, these big, massive dump-offs, right? Typically, they get bought up super quick, right? And you tend to go higher after because when something breaks, you print more money, right? You have to help people, which causes asset prices to go up. So that's why, like, say if there was another banking failure, maybe it's initial sell-off, but that's actually a bullish thing, you know? That's the thing about black swans. It's like even a bull, like even if you're a bull, and like, say if you're bullish on Bitcoin in the high time frames, and a black swan happens, like you should be happy because you're bullish on the high time frames. You just had a black swan happen, right? And then you get like these generational entries. That's what I'm saying. Like last time COVID, in hindsight, was obviously a generational entry. You didn't know at the time. You thought the world was ending. You thought the world was ending. Zombie apocalypse. We're all dead. You know, blah blah blah. Right? Everyone needs money. Markets are just going to keep tanking, and obviously that ended up being what marked the low into the most bullish time in history for markets in general, right? So if you saw something like that happen again, which I'm not saying it will, but if it does, even if you're a bull, you should be. I know I will not. I did not buy as much stuff as I looking back as I wish I would have at that time, right? But I know if something like that happened again, that I'd be ready to pounce on that shit. And that's why anything like into this trend line, I think would be a massive sell-off, a lot of capitulation. I'd be looking to scoop that up. So whatever happens, man, I'm ready for it. Because I ain't looking to sell the higher prices anyway, so what do I care? Let's see. Why are swans bulls? Oh, swans grow horns, man. Or we have a white swan. Whoa! And the white swan comes out and just starts swimming. You never know. Let's see. When's Sriracha? No Sriracha. All right, guys, I'm getting out of here. Man. Ahmad said, please Rune and total market cap TA. Rune's going down, bro. Right? Let me look at Rune. Rune's one that I know everyone's hyped on. And then, yep, Okay. You see where it is? Rune's gonna dump. In my opinion. Why do I think this? Listen, it got a pump into a weak market at the moment. You spiked the high, got rejected. Rune, and this is just on the weekly. I can go to the daily, right? And you can already see momentum waning, right? Spike up, right into the high, right? Rune's going down, in my opinion, right? Obviously, I could be wrong, but what have we noticed on the altcoin market recently? Any one of these big pumps on these alts just gets sold off. That's just the way the market is right now, right? So it's the bigger players getting liquidity to be able to buy things lower, and they use these big pumps to do that, right? Don't be the guy who's buying into resistance. Don't be that guy, man. I think Rune more than likely will turn over here at some point. Maybe it's not tomorrow. You can even zoom in a little bit more. But I think Rune is about toast there, man. Horse guy Rune TA. That's all you need, man. You don't need anything more than that. Some people make this so difficult, man. Come up to a major resistance level. You spike the highs. Spike the highs once. Rejected. Spike the highs again. Rejected. That deserves at least a pump song. Rune open interest completely flipped. It is clear to dump to oblivion. Yeah, man, that's a retail trap right there. Listen, I'm going to give it a pump song. I'm going to give it a pump song, but I think this one's, maybe it doesn't dump back down to freaking 90 cents, but I think a pullback makes sense, right? Listen, I'm not saying it's going back down to 90 cents. What we could be looking at, and I think you got to be a little bit logical and say, okay, we could be seeing a pullback in here, right? To retracement levels. But I'll give it a pump song. We'll give it a pump song, right? It at least deserves that. Like Anderson said, bro. We can't play these pump songs recently. You know? All roads lead to buying for Bitcoin. True, man. True. All right, guys. I'm getting out of here. All right. Enjoy your day. I'll be live in the morning tomorrow. So we'll do a morning stream tomorrow. We'll call it. Let's do 9. We'll be live at 9 tomorrow. We'll do a little market open stream tomorrow to see what the stock market does in the morning. Other than that, looks like stock futures are up, dollars down. Patience, guys. Patience is the name of the game at this point. Have the patience, have your levels marked, okay? Don't be afraid to be patient on your levels. The hardest thing to do sometimes is to mark out a level and say, I'm going to buy at this level. Something dumps a little bit, it starts to pump up a little bit, and you want to buy it. Don't get faked out. Have your support level marked and wait for your support level, because eventually, usually it comes to there. You just might get faked out beforehand, right? And then say, okay, if it doesn't go to your support level, I missed it. That's okay. Because guess what? Open up coin market cap. There's 30,000 other altcoins, fellas. All right? I'm out of here. Peace. See you guys later.